Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Man United. My name is Rowan Brennan and we are approaching the final days of the transfer window. What was once looking to be a very promising transfer window for United, we've now reverted back to type and become the stuttering, spluttering, amateur hour pack of idiots that we've always come to expect this club to be. At least now the names have been narrowed down. So we're going to get into a look at what United are now close to signing in the left back position. And are we finally going to get the midfielder that we've been looking for all summer? Let's get into it. Kicking us off, we're going to look at United's left-back reinforcement list. There has been every name under the sun linked with this position for United, given the panic that struck the club with Malacia and Shaw both out. So what kind of player do you want? You want someone who's good, but not that's going to be too expensive, someone that's good enough to do a job, but not someone that you're going to have to keep because you want to keep Shaw as your number one, but you need someone that's still capable. It's an almost impossible set of criteria to fulfill. A lot of names being linked, some underwhelming, others people were like, okay. But it seems there are two clear front runners for that left back position in the names of Cucurella and Nicolas Tagliafico. The weird thing about these two players is that they're not even remotely similar, nor do they have experience that is similar either. Tagliafico, of course, having worked with Ajax and Erik ten Hag, shocker. It seems that any player that Ten Hag used to work with I'd say any player that has played with Ten Hag at any level is rubbing their hands together, hoping for a move to Manchester United. But they did work together at Tagliafico. Of course, he would have teammates in Garnacho and Martinez at the club as well. He is 30. Okay, so he did have a very good career at Ajax, but again, the Eredivisie, not wanting to give any disrespect to the league, it's a tier 3 league. It simply is. With tier 2 leagues being Germany and Italy, tier 1 being Spain and England. If you disagree with that, please leave that in the comments. But I think it's pretty clear that Spanish and English teams are dominant. There is more quality throughout the leagues. And the Dutch league is a tier 3 league. People are looking to get out of that league into Germany and Italy or even Spain and England. So spending 5 years at Ajax, Tagliafico was a key member of that team, playing there for 5 seasons, winning 2 Eredivisie titles, and played as a marauding, very energetic, very lung-busting, stamina-filled left-back, and did very, very well. In 169 games for Ajax, he did score 16 goals and overall had 24 goal involvements, whether that was goals or assists. So a very forward-thinking, a very attack-minded fullback. Now, as a 30-year-old, he is approaching the later years of his career. And to be honest, he's gone from Ajax and the Eredivisie to the French league. So a bit of a sideways move into another tier 3 league in France. He's now been plying his trade at Lyon. He's had 1 season there, and he has had 1 game and 1 goal this season. But last year, his attacking output wasn't anywhere close to what it would have been during his time at Ajax. The reasons being Lyon just aren't a very good team. So does that bode well for this transfer as well? Do United really want to be going for a player that has gone from Ajax and the Eredivisie to Lyon in France, who finished 7th last year? His attacking output dropped massively compared to what his output was during his time in Ajax. And at the age of 30 and now plying his trade for a mid-table French team, is this really the player that United need to be bringing into the left-hand side? Yes, he was a World Cup winner, but not everyone that got a World Cup medal was playing regularly. Tagliafico is a decent player. He is in the twilight of his career. His attacking output hasn't been the same as it was previously. But he does have a lot of stamina. He runs all day, and he does like to get forward and maraud into those kind of forward positions and start kind of looking for those goals and assists. Is he the right type of player? He would not be the player I would be going for, given the fact that he's never played even in a tier 2 league. His entire career has been spent playing at Independiente and then at Ajax and now in France. He's never played elite level football. He played very well for Ajax during that run in the Champions League, but a lot of mid-level players did very well in that team, as we've come to find out in the years that have passed since. A lot of those players have not trained on, both senior and young, with a lot of expectations on a number of them. So would I be able to rely on Tagliafico to come into the Premier League and fill in for Luke Shaw for 3 or 4 months? I don't know. Maybe he does fit that profile of player that's, not bad, but not so good that you're going to have to keep him, but good enough that he'll do a job for a number of months. Again, very, very difficult decision to make. Cucurella, on the other hand, this is a player who has come to the league and for at least one season was one of the best left backs in the game. A very defense-minded player in a team that had a lot of attacking proficiency, it has to be added. This was Graham Potter's Brighton and Hove Albion team, who've gone on to even bigger and better things under De Zerbi. Cucurella was obviously subjected to a massive bid, 62 million. Pep Guardiola was also looking at him as well. But Guardiola was also looking at Maguire and Fred, and we saw how those transfers turned out. So that is not exactly a barometer of what a good player can be. Cucurella is not the antithesis, but he is completely different to what Tagliafico is. He makes more interceptions, an average of 2.7 per game. He's a very defensive-minded player. Now, he is a progressive player. What does these terms mean? Okay, progressive player means any player that's able to move the ball forwards 5 yards towards the opponent's goal within the opponent's half. That is what makes or qualifies you to be a progressive player. So Cucurella is a progressive player, but he doesn't get a lot of goals and assists. Even during his breakout season at Brighton and Hove Albion, 1 goal, 1 assist. Now, last year, he didn't do well at Chelsea. He was kind of derided. He was mocked, laughed at. It's gone, as transfers go, it's been a bit of a disaster, and he didn't play well. But who the hell did for Chelsea last year? Even established Premier League, I would say, greats. Sterling is a great Premiership player. He's played for all the best teams, except United. But he is a fantastic player, and he looked distinctly average. Some would even say crap last year. So did Havertz. Mudryk wasn't good. None of their defenders were good. Koulibaly, once considered to be one of the best centre halves in the world, bombs out of Chelsea after 1 year. No player at Chelsea covered themselves in glory last year. It was a team in absolute chaos, in turmoil, with 3 managers in one season, a new takeover, off the back of losing Roman Abramovich because of the scandals with Russia and everything. It was an absolute circus of a club. He joined a chaotic club, and it showed in his performances. But everyone was crap last year. So is it fair to kind of beat him over the head with more so than any other player in that team? I don't know. In half the minutes at Chelsea that he played with Brighton this season previous, he got twice the amount of assists. Now, that means 2 assists. He only got 1 goal and 1 assist at Brighton during his breakout season. He's not a very forward player. He's not like Tagliafico. Tagliafico wants to bomb forward, get goals, get assists. Cucurella does not do that. He is progressive, wants to take it into the opponent's half, but then he wants to lay it off. So they are different profiles of player, which is odd. My feeling is we will get Cucurella. That's the player that we want. He does have Premier League experience. He has shown he can do it in a Tier 1 league. Tagliafico hasn't even done it in a Tier 2 league. So he's a safer bet in that regard. Good age profile. He's 25. He's young, which you want in a fullback. You want lots of energy. Tagliafico does have a lot of stamina. He's known for that, but he is in the twilight of his career. And, he hasn't played in a league even close to the level of the Premiership. Now, there is a fee being touted for Cucurella of 7 million. That is an insane amount of money for a loan fee, because you're not even getting money back on that. Like, I mean, it's one thing paying money for a player because you're going to get something back in the resale, but paying 7 million quid for a player who you mightn't even need by February is a lot of money. So I think that's where the sticking point is. I think the player wants to go. Chelsea wants him to leave. United want him to arrive. It's just trying to figure out what the fee is going to be. Fabrizio Romano has reported that a deal has been agreed, with wages being split 70-30, United paying 70% of them, Chelsea paying 30%. I think it's just that loan fee that still needs to be agreed. So Cucurella looking very close to joining United and being the stand-in left back, at least until the early part of next year. I, for one, am excited to see him come in. He's a very defence-minded player. I think given the emergency stopgap that we need. Cucurella, we could have done a hell of a lot worse. And I'm not going to judge him based on last year's performances. I think under Ten Hag, under a club that is trying to move forward and trying to rid itself of these kind of circus stories, I think Ten Hag could do a lot with that player the same way he has done with Wan-Bissaka and so many more in that squad with regards to just some good coaching and give the player some confidence and get him playing first team football again and a lot of minutes under his belt. Moving on to the midfield positions, it does look like there are two now clear front runners for that deep lying midfield role that United so badly need to fill. The names, of course, being Sofyan Amrabat. The up and down, left and right, yes, no, yin yang, black, white on this transfer has been honestly exhausting, and it's made United look absolutely amateurish. He was close to signing, fees were agreed. He's no longer playing or training with Fiorentina. He's been left out of squads. He's refused moves to Liverpool, refused moves to Saudi. It was all but done with United. But it still hasn't happened. What the hell is going on? We just don't know. There's now talk that United want to offer a loan amount. They were offering 1.8 million as a loan amount and didn't want the option to buy or something like that. There's so many different stories coming out, with subsequent stories coming out that the Glazers have spent 2 million on private jet fees, but they can't afford to pay less than that on a midfielder that we badly need on a loan fee. There's all sorts of misinformation on this. Sofyan Amrabat is, for me and many other United fans, the standout choice for who we want to be as the midfield anchor. But Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is also looking like a player that could be close to signing. And just like Cucurella and Tagliafico, they are wildly different in how they play. Sofyan Amrabat, of course, a deep-lying destroyer. He did play a lot more advanced for Fiorentina, but we did see him play a lot more deep for Morocco and breaking up play and being that defensive player that they needed him to be. Fiorentina obviously have a lot more possession. They have the second highest amount of possession in Serie A, so he didn't get to be that destroyer that he would be for Morocco. But what he is exceptionally good at is setting up the play from deep. Long diagonal passes into the left and right channels, trying to set up plays from deep. Incredibly high passing accuracy rate, over 90% from those deep positions. Mid and long range passes being a specialty of his, as well as being able to break up play and start out those attacks. Very similar to Carrick. Really, but with a little bit more defense-minded than Carrick was. So a completely different player to Højbjerg. Højbjerg is a totally defense-minded player. He does not like to get forward into those positions. He doesn't like to kind of take the ball and bring it forward all that much. He is a deep-lying central defensive midfielder that is purely designed to break up play. He's not known for goals or assists, but he did get a number of man-of-the-match performances under Jose Mourinho at Spurs, and he looked like an incredibly good signing by Jose Mourinho coming in from Southampton and operating as that defensive shield for the defense, which, to be honest, is something that United could do with. Amrabat does fit the mold of being very defense-minded, but has a little bit more forward play than Højbjerg. Højbjerg being very specialist in breaking up play, but not exactly great at advancing the ball through the midfield and into the attacking section, either through dribbling or through long-range passes. He gets the ball, he knocks it 5 to 10 yards to the side, and then lets those other more attack-minded players take the ball and run with it. So again, a very distinct difference in the profile of the two players that are leading the race to get the left back and deep-lying midfielder for United. My hunch is we're going to get Cucurella. It looks like that's close, even by Fabrizio Romano. It's just a numbers game at this stage. And for that playmaker, there is now reports coming out that Sofyan Amrabat has been cleared to fly to Manchester to take a medical, with a fee now having been agreed between Manchester United and Fiorentina. So it does look like Cucurella and Amrabat are coming in. But again, we don't know. This Amrabat deal was supposed to be done a month ago, and it's still, circling the airport looking to wait for a landing. So it's, who knows? But Fabrizio Romano, very, very reliable. It does look like that deal is going to happen. If it doesn't, maybe Højbjerg is there as a plan B if the Sofyan Amrabat deal was unable to be concluded. So that's it for now. What do you guys make of it? Would you prefer Tagliafico over Cucurella? Are you nonplussed with either? Do you think the Sofyan Amrabat deal is going to actually close, as per those reports from Fabrizio Romano? Or do you think Højbjerg is going to get that nod? Apparently offers have been made for both. I think United are just trying to hedge their bets and making sure they've got offers on the table and contracts ready to sign for either player in the event that one or the other should fall out of the race. It's probably the smart thing to do. What happens over the next 24 hours remains to be seen. I'm certainly excited to see who we're going to get across the line in the final few hours. I wish it had been done earlier, but in typical United fashion, they are leaving us all on the edge of our seats wondering what the hell they're going to do next. And if we're actually going to get anyone, it's going to make for a very interesting 24 hours. Thank you for joining me. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe, notifications. I'll see you on the next one.